Hi there, I thought I'd try and help you with your clock. I realise you've had a couple of issues after shipping, so I thought I'd just talk about this clock, which is similar to yours. It's not Gustav Becker, so it's not quite as good a movement, but it's something going to be similar. So the pendulum usually hangs off this back movement bracket via suspension, and you've got the long pendulum rod and it sits somewhere around about there in the case. Now, the important things to remember for this type of clock is you have this impulse bar here coming off the crutch. Now that bar needs to sit inside that slot there. Okay, so when you push that on, you need to make sure that that slot goes in there. See, on these ones you've got fine adjustment, so you can rotate these left and right, and this will help you get it into beat. As you can see, me moving this is moving this index pin across. So anyway, once you've attached this to the bracket via the runners, you can lock it into place with these screws. You need to then lift the hammer up as you place it on, so it misses the gong, so it sits on top of the gong, yet misses the pendulum, so it sort of sits in behind just there. So that's a friction point as well. Now I'm just going to pop this back on. Oh no, quickly I want to talk about the dial. Now the dials, they're all independently made. So this part's made, that part's made, and it's all housed in this tin false back plate. So if you take off the movement by taking the hands off and the subsidiary, this is just a tapering pin, it just pops out and the hands will come off. Remove the 4 tapering pins, the fixing tapering pins on the movement, then you can take the dial off, and then you can adjust the dial in the sense of move the chapter rings round and also sort of fix them so that it's not so loose. Maybe they've sort of worn a bit through the shipping process, so you need to squeeze it back on to tighten it up. It'll be self-apparent once you get the dial off. So that's a couple of helpful tips there. Now if you slot this back on the runners like so, right, which I've judged them, and then when you go to hang the weights, what we need to do is make sure this hoop is hooked onto the hook at the bottom, which they often fall off. So I'm just going to put that on there. It's low lighting, so do bear with me. I can't see it to do it. Oh no, just put it on by the light. Okay, so we've put that hook, we've hooked that back on. So I'm going to pop this back onto the case. So I'm putting the runners inside the runners on the bracket. And then what you do, obviously you make sure the pendulum's in place properly. And then I'm going to move out of the way so you can see. You hang the weight on to the pulley like so. And the same this side, so it's inverted, so you turn them round and you lay the gut inside the runner of the pulley and then pop the weight on. Okay, like that. Okay, so that's pretty much your setup. Then you have to fiddle about a bit getting it, the hammer missing, so you don't want any friction from the pendulum or the hammer, so you need a little bit of time to set it up. And then when you swing the pendulum, you're looking to get it into beat. Used them 2 screws on the index pin that went through, or the pulse bar that went through the pendulum, and then just use the 2 nuts to rotate that, and that will move left to right, and you have to listen to the beat in order to get the correct beat. So I hope for that will help you. It's and the bits at the bottom of the case you found will most likely be old tapering pins that have fallen out, so there's nothing to worry about there. As long as the movement isn't loose anywhere, or have a look around the movement, see if you can see holes where pins should be, and they can easily be popped back in. Hopefully that's come to some kind of help, and give me a ring, or not ring because you're in America, give me a text to see how you're getting on. Thank you very much. Bye bye now.